everybody.
Hey, welcome.
How's it going?
Good. How you doing?
Man, I'm so amazing.
I know you weren't really asking me, but that's fine.
Well, I was asking everybody, and you're the only one who can respond because,
Uh, well, they can respond. They'll get there.
well, they totally can. They can
They're
respond in the chat. How are you guys doing? Please respond in the chat. Oh, server blanket already did. I'm doing
Okay.
great.
Server blanket.
Nice.
I'm doing great
Yes.
tonight, says server blanket. Awesome.
Yeah. Welcome everybody to Don't Worry Wednesday. You all that have been here before, you know the drill.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Epsilon Galaxis has asked about the forehead mark. Yeah, it's Ash Wednesday, so we
That's
have
Wednesday.
ashes for Ash Wednesday. So this is the I'm not called server blanket.
Dude, server blanket. Yeah, you are. I mean, what do you want us to call you, Cody? That's not even a human name. How about server blanket? That makes it sound real, like legit.
uh, yes. Well, at any rate, so this is the stream where we handle any issues or challenges you might be going through. Just go ahead and post them in the chat, or you can post them at bss.studio. I will put the link down right here.
Okay, Cody, I'm sorry. No, you don't need to change your name. Your name's great.
No, Cody, you're awesome. Sorry for calling you server blanket.
Sorry for calling your name.
But it's right on there, so
Cody,
I couldn't help.
we apologize.
Yes. Cody, we appreciate you being here.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we're not professional therapists or counselors or anything like that. We just are friends, and we want to help you in whatever way we possibly can. We're not a substitute for any professional counseling, but I know that at times that I was going through a lot of challenges, it really helped to just have people around me that would encourage me and listen without judging, and maybe talk about issues with me, and offer some perspective from outside that would help me understand that what I was going through, it may not necessarily be that big of a deal in the grand scheme of things. A lot of times I would get so caught up in my head with whatever I was doing and whatever was going on in my life that I'd just get blinded to the reality of the situation. Recently, I was just going through a challenge where I was hit with a whole bunch of financial things all at once, and I was just boom. I kind of lost track of myself for a little while. And I started looking around at other people in the world, and I'm like, you know what? A lot of these other people have faced very similar financial challenges, or maybe even worse. And maybe they're going through ones right now. But the thing I'm going through right now is not totally unique. It's, it's something that people handle and they deal with. So sometimes it helps to understand that. Mm-hmm. So at any rate, welcome you guys, and we appreciate you being here. Yeah, if you want to post anything in the chat, go ahead. Yeah. Amira says, "Why do you guys look like you're part of a cult?" I guess we kind of are.
We are part of a cult. Sorry about that. Yeah, no. Technically, that would be correct. A cult is essentially the same thing as a culture, except for it's smaller. But technically, we're not a cult because we're not smaller. We're actually larger. By technicality, there's more Catholics than there are Americans, probably.
Yeah, there's like 1 billion.
Yeah, if you put all of the Catholics together, there's more than at least than in any other culture or religion.
Yeah, I think America only has like 300,000 people, or no, 300 million. Sorry.
So actually, I think that applies to any culture, though. Like whether it be for any religion, you could say. But anyhow, yeah. So, it's Ash Wednesday, as Joe was saying earlier. Ash Wednesday is a day that we kind of celebrate, basically to sum it down. We're created from ashes. We're created from nothingness in a way, created from the ashes of the earth. Mm-hmm. And then at some point in life, we are going to return as ashes. and that's not something that's particularly religious, that everybody believes that, but it's to call to mind where we stand in this world, um, and that life is temporary, but it's also beautiful, and we've been given this chance, um, and also given a chance at something beyond life, um, because this life is only temporary. There's more than just what we see here. Um, so it's to call in mind a lot of things and to be appreciative. But it's the start of a season for us of fasting and so on.
Yeah. So we're sorry if it makes us look bizarre or anything like that.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
If it's unsettling.
Yeah, if
But,
it makes you feel queasy, I apologize. You feel free to bring your puking bag. No, okay. Anyways, hey, welcome. Hey, Zemi. But anyways, that's what's going on with the ashes in the head, on the forehead, and hope you don't mind it. You'll get over it as we talk. Um, it's just basically a once a year thing. So, oh, Heckmer. Okay, cool. Nice to see you, man.
yeah. Good to see you. So our producer is Jesse Van Slyke, and our chat room hostess is Princess Yellow. So we want to extend our thanks to both of them for working super hard behind the scenes. We had some technical challenges coming on tonight because Ryan is actually in a different location.
Yeah, it was hard setting this up. Luckily, a good friend of mine who's was visiting or kind of taking our vacation on with us, helped us out and is letting me borrow his laptop after much issues with other other trials of different computers and things not working out. So much thanks to him.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. So yeah, now that we've gone through
A
all
lot.
of that, yeah.
Yeah.
Shall we roll into
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's get started, huh?
all right. So all right. So in the grand order of things, we have one from Angel and then Uni, and then we have one from Elizabeth and then Tef, then Akil. After that is Princess, Kendra, and another one from Princess, Epsilon, Galaxis, and then Akil. So
oh my gosh, we have so much.
we do. We've got a whole bunch in the background, but I'm not sure who all is here. So we should ask if Angel is here. Angel, I know you were here on Friday, and we did not get to yours that day. So
Yeah, I hope Angel's with us today. If not, oh well. But it'd be nice.
Yeah, because that's a really good topic.
Angel, if you're here, please do just write a message in the chat, and we'll get to it. Otherwise, what's after that one? Angels, by the way, is on addiction. It's a very good one.
Yes, and then we have Uni, a choice of where to be. And then Elizabeth, Fate and Malice, Jealousy Part 2.
Oh, okay.
And then Tef talks about happiness, Akil, Umbra. And then after that is Princess. And it looks as though Princesses would be the next one of who's here.
Of who's here? Yeah. Princess would be first in line, it looks like. If no one else chimes in. What's the name of Princesses?
It's called Invalidation.
All right, let's see if I'm using my phone right now to do this. That way.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just going to work out that way.
Yeah. So let's see. Princess's topic is right here. And let me also get it to the appropriate place here. Boom. Yeah.
Right.
Yep. So, Princess. This is about invalidation. Princess, thank you so much for the topic. And
oh wait, okay. Let me go to page 1. There we go.
Found it?
Not quite yet, but I think it's going to be here.
Okay.
Yep, I found it. All right.
All right, perfect. So yeah, feel free to read along as I read it. And so this is from Princess. And it says, well, while talking with Jesse about an issue on my mind, I noticed that within the span of 3 seconds that I had unconsciously invalidated myself or my feelings / situation. And while writing this, I had done it again, hilariously enough, or maybe not so hilariously. So let me tell a small story for a bit of context. In the field of science, many are focused on leaving a legacy or being the first who makes a discovery. One of my professors even told us that scientists and academics are often based on their worth and prestige on how many papers that they release and have behind their name. Yet anywhere I turn, I find that I seem different since I only desire to help be a part of the solution to a problem. It's not about being the one who is remembered in history, but rather being someone who got us to find the way to save lives or improve them. It's not something I hear others say, and it's something that makes me feel like I'm in the wrong, since that's not what you're supposed to aim for. In summary, I always feel so different, and that being different in the way that I am is wrong. In many ways, this is something I think has been programmed into my mind since I was young, as you guys might know a small bit about. So do you have any advice in particular on ways to help lovingly confront my subconscious thoughts?
Yeah. Well, cool. That's a good question. Thank you, Princess. Thanks for sharing that with us. And kind of like you were pointing at with in the post, it can be hard to talk about things like that, personal issues and validation and that sort of thing. But thank you for sharing that. That takes a lot of inner strength, and that's very nice. Very good to have. I think we've talked about this briefly, you and I, about how it's interesting and it's not bad at all that you run the way that you move through life is slightly different than most. A lot of people need that dream to motivate them to, they want to be a legacy or whatever. They want to prove to the world that they're something special. And they need that sort of motivation to do good work. They want to get noticed and to be recognized and etc. As a part of the reason they do things. And if that's not the case for you, I think that's all the more blessing. Because then you're not focused on the good of, you're not necessarily focused on, I guess self-desire and putting your desire above anything else. You're more so focused on the good of others, and I think that's way more loving and way more beautiful. There's nothing wrong with somebody who dreams, and that's a very good thing. But not everybody is built for the same dream. Not everybody is built for the same thing. And some of us run off of different fuel types, you could say. Some of us really love getting work done, while other of us don't really care if work is done, but we really want to make sure everybody in the room, with us or whatever, or around us is feeling okay, that there's no, that everybody's in peace and harmony. Some people really care about something else, like making sure that they're very well understood or that they understand a lot of things, because they thrive on that sort of thing. So there's all sorts of different people and personalities in the world. And I would never consider, I think it's the people who are really oriented on their dreams and becoming a legacy are the loudest. Because in order to achieve recognition, you have to be loud. And so it's not that you're so different, that you're the only one that is not running off of that kind of fuel. It's just more so that you feel like you're the only one because a lot of people around you are running off of that type of fuel, that they're running for chasing that legacy, that self-recognition. And that's what powers them. And in order to get self-recognition, you have to be loud. You have to make yourself known, right? So they go hand in hand. It's not that there's more of them. There's plenty of every other people kind of, personalities and stuff. Some people, they are completely happy. I can't say completely happy, but they're completely content working at a gas station for their entire life, and they're okay with that because you know what? They can still fulfill their God-given purpose. They can still fulfill the things they want to fulfill in life, even if they're just working at a gas station. It's not about where they work. It's not about getting recognized. And in fact, every time they go to the gas station, they meet people, strangers, and they can put a smile on those people's faces.
Mm-hmm.
Or people who come often, and they make those people's days too by being kind and polite and lifting their spirits. And that's awesome, right? So um, don't ever try to be concerned about the way you think about the world or the way that you move through your life and what you focus on. Don't feel like, oh no, I don't have a dream. Like I need to work on this. Well, your dream might not be grandiose, like super big or something specific, or even wanting to aggrandize yourself or be recognized. It might be something as simple as, I just want to help, and I want to be the most helpful person that I can be. Not the most helpful person in the entire world, the most helpful person that I can be, the helpful person I was made to be,
Mm-hmm.
right? Someone in the battle for good rather than evil. I mean, even just that. Um, and if that's what fuels your fire, then you're on the right track. You're going the right way, Um, I think when you have a problem is you when you encounter not knowing how to move forward, or where your motivation is or why you're doing things. And then at that point, I think it's good to start to study yourself, maybe dream a little, try to find, hope in the world and that sort of thing. But I don't think you're in that position at all. But your main topic here, outside of that, was just um, you feel so wrong for being different, and you uh, what's the word? I'm trying to find the word. Invalidate yourself.
Mm.
Um, and I think we all invalidate ourselves from time to time,
Oh,
but
yeah.
that's not. There is a healthy dose of invalidation, and then there's a bad, too much, right? With anything, there's a balance. Um, you don't want it's invalidation can be good in the sense that you don't assume that you're right all the time. Assuming that you're always right gets you into a lot of trouble.
Mm.
Even, it's funny. Assuming you're always right gets you a lot of trouble, even if you are right.
Mm-hmm.
Because the way that you act and treat others around you and the way that they feel is always going to be a little bit off. It's not going to be focused on helping them to become the best version of themselves. A lot of times, people who um, who know that they're right and don't care about anything other than the fact that they're right often lose sight of the meaning of being right, the reason it's good to be right, which is ultimately happiness. Um, and they put themselves and being right before virtues and people skills,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of that kind of stuff. So, um, and also those kind of people might have a hard time apologizing or admitting that they're wrong, and that sort of thing. So, a certain amount of recognition of the possibility that you're wrong is good. That's good.
Mm-hmm.
It's good to recognize. It's good to have that, like, hey, I might be wrong here, attitude. But you don't also on the other side of things, you don't want to push that too far and assume that you don't have the strength that to not have the confidence in yourself, I should say. You don't want to put yourself in a place where you're always assuming you're wrong in such that you don't even try to do anything. You don't want to invalidate yourself so that you're inconfident and can't speak up when you need to. And that comes with just, I suppose, understanding your place in the world. I would say humility,
Mm-hmm.
and humility in the correct sense. I know we've covered this before, but humility isn't just putting others before yourself. Humility is understanding your place in the world among others and that you guys are equal, and that your attention, if you're going to help yourself out, you should also help those around you. If you're going to help others around you and you're going to be confident in them, then you need to be confident in yourself too. And you need to help yourself too. You don't want to be selfless where you don't care about yourself and you don't take care of yourself, and you end up having no gifts to give because you can't build on anything. But you also don't want to, be selfish where you take from others and you hoard your gifts and you don't give them up to anybody. Your life is a gift and it should be given, and that's beautiful. So anyways, I think a lot of that comes with humility, proper understanding and recognition and execution of our own place in this world and equal to those around us.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I would try to encourage you to say is tell other people they're awesome, and then recognize that you're also awesome, just like them.
Mm-hmm.
Recognize the amazingness that you see in other people, and then also try to remember you're just as amazing as they are. You might have not done the same things as they've done, right? But your value is the same as them, no matter what. Your dignity is the same. So maybe that can move you along the right path. There's a lot more we can say about the subject, but I'm going to let Joe do that.
Well, most of what I have to say is pretty much the same stuff that you already said, Ryan, because you kind of took all the wind out of my sails.
Oh, I'm sorry.
For that one.
I'll try to shorten.
No, it's good. Great minds think alike.
I'll just rewind.
Right.
There, now you got everything you want to say.
Yeah, perfect. Princess updates. I feel like it's hard to understand my place sometimes. Just when I think I understand, there's concerns from others pushing it as some other idea. Okay. Yeah, I understand the difficulty that you're in here, Princess. And interestingly enough, I've walked on both sides of this equation, being the person that is driven by ego and getting the self-aggrandizement and getting more things to my name and trying to boost myself, through, achievement. And then also on the other side, where that's not necessarily all that important to me, what's important is, did I do things that help other people? Did I get things done and not care about, me being, the big whatever, shot. whatever it was I was. And I saw this in one particular job I had. I lived on both sides of the coin. And when I first started, this was a sales job in a band and orchestra department at a music store, right? So I basically helped people get the accessories they needed for their band classes and stuff like that. So all of that. And when I first started, it was all about how quick can I get these people the stuff they need, because they're standing in line. They've been in a long line. It was when I first started, it was the season when it was like just school was getting started. So everybody's coming in for their stuff to get started with school and their band programs and stuff. And so it was all about how quickly can I help them and get them done, so then we can move through and get everybody in and out of here as quickly as possible. Because who likes standing in a line for a long time?
Me.
Oh, okay, good.
Well, besides me, probably no one.
Yeah, you're about it. You're unique in that, Ryan, that you like standing in lines for a long time. Most people don't. And so that was my goal. And, it was really fulfilling, and I had a lot of fun, and, there were a lot of laughs, and everything was high energy and good and everything like that. And then I remember something happened. That was my first year in that season. The second year, all that had kind of gone to the wayside, and the focus had now become what my commission check was going to be. So it's based on my personal achievement. How quick can I get these people through so I can make a lot more money? Because I realized the commission that was tied to how quickly I could get people in and out of here. And my whole attitude was different. On the one side, beforehand, it was it was fun, and it was exciting, and I was helping people, and people were smiling, and people were happy and everything like that. On the other hand, when I was really concerned about my commission check, I was still trying to get people through fast, but my intentions were different, and it was way a lot more empty. If that makes any sense. That was probably a really bad way to say that. But the feeling was empty when I was concerned with myself and my own achievement. And it was much more fulfilling when I was just about helping these people get in and out and having a good day and stuff like that. So where you are right now, Princess, is the more fulfilling side. While I understand in the field, and it can happen in any field, whether it's science or music or, you know, probably anything in corporate America, if you, the general tendency is to think, I want to rise to the top. I want to be the best I can be. I want to shoot for the stars, and I want it to be great. And, you know, when you have that focus, it's a lot more stressful. And then when you get there, when you get to the point, because you know, in that situation where I was on the sales counter for the music store, I was one of the top sales guys. So I was always one of the top commission earners every month. And it was crazy. The more I started to focus on that, the more stressed I got about it, the more on edge I was with other people. And it was just, my existence seemed to take on this dark side to it. And that generally tends to be the case. Anytime we focus on ourselves and our own accomplishments and our own grandiose, you know, scheme or whatever it is, it's empty. It's never, ever enough. We can feed that, and we can get to the point where we can be like, if I only get to this accomplishment, I'm going to be fulfilled and it's going to be great. And then you're going to get there and you're going to look around and it's like, hey, I got here. Well, this isn't as cool as I thought it was going to be. I remember getting to that point when I had gone through an apprenticeship, and then I had completed the apprenticeship, and I had gotten to a point where I had, you know, I was making decent money, and there was all this stuff that I had now that I never had before. And I stood there and I looked around at all of it and felt empty, because it was all about me. It was all about me and my accomplishment. And unfortunately, the people who are telling you that that's where that life is, where this is where scientists go, this is where you're supposed to be. Unfortunately, they're chasing something that's empty. They're chasing after wind. And I mean, it's good to have dreams, like Ryan was saying. It's good to have goals for accomplishment. And I always, for the longest time, for years and years, I've had goals that I post on my board and dreams of things that I want to accomplish and everything. And it's good to have those things because it can drive you. However, recently I've switched that because I came across a great, great quote. And it's basically God is a quote where God is speaking to a person. And God says to this person, whatever you do, do it well. Work faithfully in my vineyard, and I will be your reward. And to me, that spoke so clearly with, I was chasing all these material goods. I was chasing all these accomplishments because I wanted them for myself. And now it's like, wait a second. Instead of doing that, why don't I have the same goals? I have the same tasks to accomplish. But if I do them now for the BSS community, to help their lives be more fulfilling, to help them grow, to help lead them into the truth that about themselves, that, you know, so many of us have lost sight of, that we are beautiful, infinitely valuable creatures. Every single one of us with infinite dignity. Like Ryan said, you have the same dignity as that other person. Yeah, infinity. Which, I mean, every single one of us. And the more I can do that, and it's so crazy because once I shifted to that focus, I get more done and I'm having a lot more fun.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a lot more fulfilling. And my tasks, even the tasks that are not all that fun, they take on a whole new meaning because of the purpose, because of why I'm doing it, because I'm doing it in order to help other people. And so, Princess, I understand that, you're in this conflict, and it goes back and forth and back and forth. And in your head, you want to help people and you want to do good and all that stuff. And then on the other side, you're in this field where people are telling you, well, that's not the way you're going to succeed. You're going to succeed by getting these things done and attaching these reports to your name and growing that way. You can still do the reports. You can still research and invent and do all of that. But the reason you're doing it, the reason in your heart right now, that noble reason that you have is more fulfilling than anything they would come up with on the other side of the coin. And having lived on both sides, I can tell you that that's true in my life. And I know a lot of other people who would speak to that as well and say, you know what, I worked and I worked and I worked and I achieved and I accomplished and I hit my goals. I did it. I had these goals and I worked really hard and I achieved them. And when I got to the top, it was empty because I was doing it all for myself. Only then did I realize if I'd have been doing it for others, that would have been a lot more fulfilling. And so then they make the shift. Robert Kiyosaki, a business author, he talks about the same thing. He had business goals and he created a game that teaches people finance, and he wrote books and he became this really successful author and teacher, but he was doing it all for himself. And then he got to the point where he was retired. He had enough passive income streams where he was retired in his mid 40s. And he said, you know what? It was boring. I achieved my dream, my goal that I wanted, and it was boring. And only then did he realize, aha, I need to get back into teaching just for the sake of teaching because I want to watch people grow. And now his life's taken on a whole new meaning where now he's looking for opportunities to put people into and, trying to figure out ways to help people out. And he has this excitement. You can hear it in his podcast. He loves what he does because it's helping people. So, Princess, I'm telling you, you're on the right track.
Mm-hmm.
And all the stuff you're being told, it's not bad to have goals. It's not bad to have dreams. But if you do them for the right reason, and the right reason is always to serve the people around you, if you can do it for that reason, then your goals and your dreams will have fulfillment attached to them. And you can rest assured at that. So that's about the best I have. Ryan, do you have anything else to speak on this?
No, I think that was perfect. Yeah, I would have nothing to add on that. It's a great note to end on. Yeah, so true. Once you reach the top and you've done it all for yourself, you give yourself all the power. Really, you've stripped yourself of power. You've got nothing. You can stare at yourself in the mirror all day long. Nothing amazing is gonna happen. And you aren't going to all of a sudden interact with yourself in a new way that's going to be like, oh my gosh, I love this relationship I'm having with myself suddenly. Most of the time it just doesn't work that way. So yeah.
So Princess, you're on the right track.
People is awesome. And yeah, everyone here is commenting on Princess's amazingness, and they're all right. Princess is such an awesome gal, and we're so lucky to have her in VSS and part of our community, helping out and just being a great person. Always bringing joy to other people.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So thank you, Princess, for being here. And don't lose that beautiful component of who you are, that helpful, wonderful, loving person that you are.
Yeah. Be proud of that.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Then, yeah.
We love
It's a
you.
way more fulfilling way to go.
So looks like Cherry's here. Cherry's asking, what's that thing on your head, Joe? He
Ah,
asked me, but
yep. And people are
ours
answering for us.
say,
Yes.
I don't know. I shouldn't-
Yep.
Elizabeth. So,
It's the ashes of burnt palm fronds
hmm
mixed with oil.
that's right. Holy oil.
Hmm. Yes.
Yes. It's
Princess, thank you.
yeah, Cherry. It's I suppose a religious um ritual, if you will. It's not really a ritual. I suppose it is, but yeah, it's Ash Wednesday today, so a lot of Catholics around the world put ashes in the shape of a cross on their forehead, recognize their place in the world as made on this earth to out of love and to enjoy it, but also remember that it's temporary and eventually we will not be on this earth anymore. Um, and that's also beautiful. It's basically the line is from ashes we were made, and to ashes we return. But at that point, it doesn't mean life ends. It continues and in other planes of existences. So anyhow, it's it means more than that. It's got deep theology and something I think you could probably talk about for a while. But in short, there you go. That's what's going on there.
Hmm. Akil asks, isn't that also a Hindu thing? It could be.
Yeah, it could be. It very well could be.
Hmm.
Uh-huh.
There are a lot of related things in a lot of religions.
Yeah, religions, they don't necessarily copy each other all the time, but they learn similar things because truth is truth. And, um, our past is our past. Our past is the same. You know, we have I mean, our realities are connected. Our pasts cross at some point. And so a lot of uh, you know, how a lot of religions take on certain similar things when their paths cross. Not necessarily to take one thing from another, but because they experience um, the same truths and same realities that another one has.
Hmm. Yep.
And take up the same symbolisms and so on because they lived with each other and at certain points of time and so on. So yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting.
Yeah, it's a history and how everything developed is a really wonderful thing to get into and learn from. But yeah, I think we should probably go on to the next topic.
Akil says, and flex tape could bind them all.
Yes,
Yes.
flex tape is a very important part of reality. It holds the fabrics of reality together with flex.
Yep. So let's see. Okay, so in order now, we just handled princesses, and so good. The next one of who's here that I notice it would be Elizabeth's.
A cherry.
Elizabeth is also Cherry, unless Angel or Uni are here. If you're
You
here,
guys
you
are here.
feel free to speak
Please do
up.
speak up.
Hmm? But yeah, if neither one are there, then the next in line would be Elizabeth.
Is this Fate Malice Jealousy Part 1?
Yep, Fate and Malice, Jealousy Part 2.
Oh, Jealousy Part 2. Let me try to see if I can find that. So I'm on my phone today. I'm in a different setting, as you can see. Uh,
Princess is
I know.
saying Akil. Does Akil have one that came in before that?
Oh, does Ezekiel have one before?
I thought Akil's was like a couple days after that.
Oh, I'm not sure. And Tef, I think Tef is here. So
Yep, Tef and Akil are both here. They have
yeah, that's right.
them. Yes, but I think the next, if we're going by the date,
We're going by date. We can
date
do.
and time, then it would be cherries.
Okay.
So, all right. So I will post the link here.
Oh, it's a shorter one this time. Oh wait.
Did something happen to Angel? I'm not sure. Angel is here sometimes and not here sometimes.
Yeah.
And Angel was here on Friday, I think, and we didn't quite have time to get to it. He said he said to handle another person's, graciously gave the go ahead to handle Amira's, I believe. So
Yeah. Last time Amira was going through some stuff, basically, Angel gave up hers for Amira so that Amira could um, have a little bit more hope and yeah, etc. It was very nice of Angel.
Yep. So anyway, so we will move on to cherries. Cherry, Fate and Malice, Jealousy, Part 2. Okay, so I will read, and I posted it, and I need to post it both places. Man, don't forget, Joe. Don't forget to post.
Thank you, Joe. Thanks for handling all the hard work.
Yes,
And
excellent. So, all right, and Cherry is giving us a disclaimer. This gets somewhat heavy.
Ooh, I
That's
apologize.
okay. That's all right. All right, so Cherry says, this post covers the second half of the section Jealousy of the original post, Fate and Malice. If you go through the posts on the website there, you'll be able to kind of read through these. So summary number 2, continued off of part 1. 1 week, Tor was gone. These are just for a background story. These are people in an online community where there have been relationships, and there have been some drama in these relationships. People have been starting servers, banning other people from their servers. So there's been a bit of chaos going on this server.
That's right.
So here is the issue. 1 week, Tor was gone, and Naya was extra flirtatious, so she made a move for me. I couldn't resist. Well, I could have, I just didn't. Vamp, upset by this, left, and I never saw her again. I don't blame her for leaving. It was my fault for being too greedy and trying to keep everyone at once. Without Vamp, though, things became much harder for me. Tor didn't really care or didn't show any care for what had happened between me and Naya, seeing as me and Naya never really ended up getting together. Me and Tor continued on with our relationship. After a while, Puppet apologized for banning everyone, and everyone crawled up to her feet, forgiving her instantly as if they needed her or something. I was upset by this, but I ended up getting over it quickly and forgave Puppet myself. Puppet invited everyone back, and it was all okay, or so I thought. Issue number 2. To this day, I can't get over who I've lost. I distract myself and try my best to get lost in time, forgetting all that surrounds me. My mind, however, constantly brings back memories, forcing me to get flashbacks to the good times I had. It brings me nostalgia to have fun, to listen to old songs I used to love, to play old games I used to play, to be who I used to be, and I can't escape the memories. The nostalgia hurts. The thoughts in my mind remind me of how much happier I'd be if I could only have my friends back. Loss is my greatest enemy, and time gives it power. Currently, more and more friends I have seem to be leaving me. They no longer care about me or want me. I used to have so many friends that I couldn't keep up with them. Now I only have 2. One doesn't speak to me much. The other is the person I'm in a relationship with. It feels so lonely, but I try to keep myself happy. It fails to work each and every time. It doesn't matter how much I try to stand still. The hourglass keeps moving. I'm swept away by its endless sands of sorrows. Every day I'm drawn closer and closer to the knife. When will I reach the end? Only time knows. Then there's an edit. I lost everyone and have already done self-harm. I've also retreated back to the name Cherry.
All right.
And that's from Cherry. Cherry, thank you for the post. So wow, it definitely seems like you've got some there's some stuff, and I think if I remember correctly, this isn't quite the end of the story. This is just the next section.
Sure.
But it seems to be the issue here. A lot of friends seem to be leaving or losing friends, and now there's only 2 left. And one is a person that she's in a relationship with, and then the other doesn't speak very much. So Ryan, do you Do you have any thoughts on this?
Sure. Yeah, I think we covered this a little bit last time. I remember saying some similar things to this, but yeah, obviously this isn't a fun situation to be in. Not at all. Some people thrive in drama, but not even really like this, because then they're losing everybody, and that stinks. Um, Nostalgia is an interesting feeling, and it's a painful one. It's a sorrowful one, nostalgia, but it's also um, joyful if you make it.
Hmm.
Nostalgia is almost like something that breaks our inner peace, um, because it longs for something we can no longer have. But we can turn that around and be thankful for what we used to have, right?
Hmm.
We can be thankful that we got to experience the things which give us nostalgia, and be joyful about those things. Remember to um, celebrate those things instead of um, what's the word? Long for those things in such a way that it hurts us.
Hmm.
Um, and I mean, one thing that's interesting about this is, you had all of these friends, and I mean, you had a little bit of love, romance, cheating going on, and we talked about that last time. I mean, we would never hold it against you. That's just kind of what happens in life sometimes. Sometimes you get involved with a couple people, and you can't. It's hard to choose, or you know the right choice, but you don't want to hurt anybody, or you just kind of want to take advantage of the moment. And we've all had those things. We've all done those things. Um, and I mean, it hurts us inside. One of the biggest thing, it's funny because we hurt the people around us when we do that, but the person we really hurt the most is ourselves. And we have a really hard time forgiving ourselves when we go up against that and realize what we did, and we know, like, wow, that was really dumb of me, that was, etc. The hardest person to forgive yourself is yourself. Um, that's usually where the relationship um, is the roughest, is with yourself. And that's really hard because you have to live with yourself. You can't run away. You can't abandon yourself. You're always there. No matter where you go, there you are. And so um, you have to find ways to forgive yourself so that you can move on. In this scenario, I think is much like the last one because this is part two of it. So that makes sense. In this scenario, when you have that much pain, surrounding a group or a community, and some of that pain is pain that you've caused, some pain others have caused, and and those, it's not your fault. Either one, it's like in the past, and it's not something you have to repay. It's not something you have to live up to. It's something that you know better now, I suppose, and you can be stronger from it rather than weaker. With all the wounds that happen, though, you feel weak, right? You feel like giving up. You feel like everything you worked for is gone. You have no friends there anymore. You've got some friends, but they might not even be the same ones. I don't know. Um, Either way, you have this sense of loss. That's what that nostalgia is, right?
Hmm.
Um, and those wounds make it hurt, because you build up these walls that say, "I won't get hurt this way again." I won't do that again, or etc. And some of that's good, but when you say like, "Oh, I won't interact with people again," that's when, or like you say to yourself, "I'll never meet people like this again. I'll never have this community again. I'll never meet these people and make these relationships good again." That sort of stuff. um, Walls can make you think those things,
Hmm.
and the wounds have created those walls. Um, you know, and sometimes, this is basically what Joe talked about last time a lot, but we have to learn how to forgive ourselves, and we have to go back to those moments and forgive the people that hurt us. They were wrong, but we have to think about those things and acknowledge that they were wrong and say, you know what, I I love them anyways. I forgive them, and if I ever meet them again, I'm gonna treat them like they never did anything bad because I forgive them. Um, and that cures so much of our wounds, and that helps start the process of breaking down so many of those walls. Let me tell you something, Jerry. You have okay, so you met these people before, and you made friends with them, right?
Mhm.
You have full capability of almost reliving this experience. You don't know it yet, but you can meet a whole new group of people if you really tried. You have the social skills, Jerry, and I know you do. You talk here on this server or on this chat, and
Mhm.
yeah, you've got the social skills. You know how to talk to people. It's great, right? So, um, if you go out, you could go to an anime website or whatever and go into their chat rooms, the chat and go, whatever. I mean, you just start talking to people, you'll find yourself in a group.
Mhm.
And that feeling where it's like everybody calls your name, you know, as soon as you get on, and everyone's like, oh, hey, spend time with me. No, spend time with me. Yo, let's go do this thing together, blah, blah, blah. I remember that. Like, I experienced that. And I'm joyful that it happened, but I'm also glad that that's no longer happening to me. As weird as that is, it's kind of like a little bit of what we were just talking about last topic about that recognition. Um, I no longer strive for recognition. I no longer strive for people to notice me as much, because I noticed the more notice people notice me, the less I get done. A lot of times, um, I appreciate when people notice me and it inspires them to grow in themselves. That means the world to me. But that doesn't happen because I'm trying to show them I'm the best person in the world or anything like that. That happens because I've built myself up to be a good person the best I can. Or at least I'd like to say that. I've tried at least, right? Um,
Mhm.
and I think you're working towards the same end. You know, if you continue to strive to be your best, right? Continue to, I mean, that's why you're here, right? You want to get over these wounds. You want to patch this up. You want to move forward. You want to grow as a person. You want to become stronger. You want to become who you want to be. You want to be happy about who you are, joyful, and experience joy, experience happiness with other people around you. You want them, right? And that starts from yourself. That starts from being able to go out there um, and make friends. That starts from um, breaking down some of those walls, curing some of those wounds. And a lot of that, again, starts with forgiveness. Um, if you work on you, then the rest will fall in place. But in order for you to work on you, you're going to have to make amends with your relationship with yourself. The reason that you are okay with cutting yourself is because you've reduced your value to something that is below you.
Mm.
You are far more amazing, incredible, valuable. You don't even know. I cannot even, it's ineffable. It's unutterable. I cannot speak the words with my mouth to define you or to define what you can do, how many people you can lift up and add value to their lives. Um, and how much joy you can be and peace you can be at with yourself. Um, if you understood your value, you know? But you have to start working towards that. Once you can kind of um, spend some time alone with yourself in a quiet room, uplifting yourself, things will start falling into place for you.
Mhm.
You just need to find alone time. And that's hard in this world. We're constantly surrounded by devices of many different sorts.
Mhm.
And those devices entertain us. And that's good. Entertainment's good. But it distracts us too, doesn't it? I think we all know that. It distracts us. And the knife, it's also another distraction, like when you cut yourself. Um, it's just to distract you from yourself a lot of times. Now, there's other reasons on top of that, but one of the things it does is it distracts you from yourself. It stops you from being able to have that alone time with yourself and really looking at yourself, trying to build yourself up instead of tear yourself down. People hate being alone with themselves because they only know how to tear themselves down.
Mm.
Building yourself up is something that's very important, but it's hard. And it's something you learn by trying to do it.
Mhm.
Just like anything. Being a mechanic for a car, you learn by getting into the engine or whatever, tinkering around and learning how to do it firsthand. And you make mistakes. You go back and forth, especially in your mind. You say a couple of nice things, and then you start wandering off and you start tearing yourself apart, and then you have to wait. No, that's not what I'm here to do. you know
Mhm.
it's a process. But it starts, and this, all of this. It's a process, and it starts with you. um I'm here to encourage you. Let me tell you something. You can totally go out and make new friends. Cherry, you are a lovable person. um and people will enjoy you, but people will enjoy you the most in life when you enjoy yourself and when you enjoy them. Longing after the people you can't, or you're not really with anymore, right? um, can actually take away from those experiences that you have with other people. um, you, you're not supposed to compare other people with each other. Those people are unique individuals, but there are so many other people in the world waiting for friends like you, because you can be a great friend,
Mhm.
and you can share tons of stories and beautiful experiences and things you will never regret, and some things you might regret, but that's all going to be part of a story that gives you joy. And someday, Cherry, you're going to look back at this past that gives you nostalgia. And as long as you continue, like I said, to just work on yourself, and by that, I just mean look out for the best for you, desire the best for you, and start working towards that.
Mhm.
What kind of person do you want to be? Be that person. You know what's going to make you joyful if you're that person. If I was this person, I would be happy. you know, we might say that, but we actually have to live it. And it's not necessarily material things. Like if I had all this money, I'd be happy. Well, that's not who you are.
Mhm.
That's something you have. That's not really what makes you happy. It's having money. It's your attitude about it. Um, and we know the virtues. You know a lot of times what's there. Um, you said I like the mechanic analogy since I want to be an aerospace engineer one day. Dang. Jeez, wow. That's over my head. Wow. That's some really technical stuff.
Mhm.
Well, I actually know someone who is in some degree of aerospace engineering. Um, so if I know one person who's done it, then I know other people can do it too. It's not some dream that's impossible. So um, you can do it. Um, but anyhow, yeah. Anyways, what I was drawing out on is you can have those joyful experiences, but what's going to make your past look a lot brighter is when you can look a lot brighter to yourself. And then
Mm.
you can look at the past and experience the brightness in it. Because right now, you're closing that off and you're forcing yourself to see it in a dark way when it is sorrowful, but it's also joyful. Um, and if your mind is focused on the sorrow because you always treat yourself to sorrow, then it's hard to see the joy. So feed yourself joy, and especially joy that comes when it looks at yourself. And I know how hard that is. But like we said before, just one step at a time. Talking to yourself is important because you got to treat yourself kindly. You know, I don't mean to necessarily indulge on things, but every once in a while, you got to treat yourself and celebrate yourself and remind yourself that you're doing this because you're celebrating yourself. Like, hey, I'm going to go out and I'm going to get myself some nice chocolates because not necessarily because I deserve it, because I'm going to celebrate myself. because I'm going to celebrate that I exist and that I am valuable. I want to give these chocolates someday to other people because they're valuable. But today I'm going to give these chocolates to me to remind myself to celebrate. Do that.
Mhm.
Um, that will lift your spirits and actually make you like yourself more. I don't mean overindulge. Don't just go out every day, but maybe tomorrow or sometime this week, just do that once. Treat yourself because you will have a relationship with yourself, and you have to make sure that relationship is good and peaceful and at harmony and not attacking itself, right? So I know I said a lot and I kind of dragged on, but I'm gonna let Joe uh, talk about what he's got to say on this subject.
Hmm. Well, Cherry does have an update. It says, I did talk to someone today and told them they made me feel welcome
Mm.
and warm inside, and it made them happy, which made me happy. See,
Yeah, see, it's so true. That's just how it works. It's great.
Mhm. Yep. That is really awesome. And I would second everything that Ryan said. You are a wonderful person. And when you're in the chat here, you always have something great to contribute. You've contributed great stuff. I mean, just sharing this story of what's happened to you, recounting some of these events. I mean, I can't tell you how much I appreciate the fact that you're willing to do that and to
Mm.
share. And that you're willing to share part of your life with us and with the other people in the community at BSS. And that really means a lot, Cherry, and I really thank you for that. Um, just because you had some drama on this other server with some of these folks, it doesn't change your value. It doesn't change your skill level in making friends, like Ryan was talking about. I love how he put that. How you, it's not the end here. You can, you know, have that many friends again, or maybe even more. Because you can go out and get to know other people. That's one of the beautiful things. Our lives kind of wind and go around, and we kind of pick up new friends here and there, and we meet some people for a season, and then we're not in contact with them anymore. In fact, the only reason I know Ryan is because I had a coworker about, let's see, this was back in, oh my gosh, I feel so old now because
Long.
I had this coworker like 14 years ago. and so I had this coworker, and we had started some projects together, and then gotten to work with another person in Ryan's town. And then he happened to know Ryan's brother, and so Ryan's brother, I got to know him. And
That was
then,
funny how that happened too.
yeah, and I don't have any contact with my former coworker or his friend, but through those connections, I met Kyle, Ryan's brother, and through Kyle, I met Ryan. And so now Kyle and Ryan and I are all still very good friends and colleagues. And it's amazing how life goes like that. You meet people, and it's not that I don't still love these people. If I ran into them today, I would have a conversation with them and see how they're doing and all that. But it's just our lives went in different directions, and so now we just don't see each other anymore. Now, when you experience the drama, I've also experienced similar situation to what you had here, where you're kind of in a more deep relationship. And sometimes when those break apart, it can be a lot more painful, and sometimes hard feelings get fostered out of that. I remember this happening to me, particularly when I was in a band, and the band broke up, and it was a tough, it was like a hurtful one. Like we were, that, and unfortunately it was my fault. I was the initiator of this whole thing. And so I left this band, and now, like, I don't know how it would be if I ever ran into these people again. I don't know how that interaction would go. It might be like we might see each other on the sidewalk and then just not even say hi. We might just like look, glance at each other, say, oh, there's that person, and then keep walking, you know? So, I mean, it totally, but that was because we were in a relationship. It wasn't romantic, but it was, we were colleagues, and we were working toward a similar goal. And then the way I moved on with my life was painful to everybody, including myself. And there were a lot of nuances to that I don't need to go into explain. I just am telling you, when relationships end like that, it can be a lot more painful. And then for the longest time, I had deep regrets over that. Much like it sounds like you have deep regrets here. You have the nostalgia, and the thoughts in your mind remind you of how much happier you'd be if you only have your friends back. And I can remember feeling that same feeling, how much I would be happier if I only had them back. And it was debilitating. But there came a time after a long time, and I can't stress enough what Ryan had just gone through, and that was the importance of forgiveness, of forgiving these other people, and of forgiving yourself, and saying, you know what, I did some things there. I made some mistakes. It was, I was the problem. I was at fault in this situation. And you know what? There's nothing I can do to go back and fix it. There's nothing I can do to change what happened. It's done. And I messed up. It was my fault. I had to come to grips with that in this particular situation with these friends of mine. I had to come to grips with the fact that it was my fault. I made some wrong choices, and through those wrong choices, now I no longer have friends. I no longer have these friends. And it hurt for a long time, years, because I didn't know how to process that. I didn't realize the person I needed to forgive. I had forgiven them for the little things that I thought they had done that were problems, but I didn't realize the person I really needed to forgive was myself. Because I knew deep down inside it was my fault that whole thing happened. And so I needed to go back and forgive myself. I needed to go back into that experience and relive it just one more time and be like, okay, this happened and it really was painful. What can I learn from this situation? And I would take the lesson, and then I'd be like, okay, there's nothing I can do about it. It's done. It's been done now for years. I'm going to forgive myself because I've taken the lesson I can learn from this. And for you, maybe the lesson is, to monitor what kind of a relationship you're having with these people when you get into community. Mm-hmm. Sometimes the deeper you go in a relationship, the more flirtatious you go. It's fun and it's exciting and there's electricity and it's great. But the further you go down that road, you develop a bond that is painful if it separates. And you also develop a certain bond that if you try and develop that same bond with another person, there's jealousy and there's all kinds of extra feelings and extra drama. And if you want to be an aerospace engineer, I think that's awesome. While you're training for that, you probably will have a very limited time for any extra drama in your life. So as you pursue that, you're not, it's going to be off your radar screen to even develop that type of stuff that's going to lead to that kind of drama. So what can you do while you're in this situation here where you're in pain and you're feeling this regret? Work toward forgiving yourself. I know that's super hard. Because, having had to do that myself, it was really, really hard for me. And it took a long time for me to come to grips with the fact that I needed to do that. And then it took even longer to actually do it because I felt like all this like animosity toward myself and regret and anger at myself. And it took me a long time to forgive myself. But the more you can work toward that as your goal, understand that that's your goal and work toward it, you're going to move forward and you're going to progress. The next thing you can do is you can take all this feeling, all these emotions, this turmoil that's going on inside you right now. And if you can channel it towards something creative, put it in, if you have any type of creative things that you do, whether it's writing, art, music, something, designing things, something creative, you take that passion, that emotional unrest you feel, and you channel it into something like that, you will create some amazing stuff, Cherry. And then when you do that, post it on bss.studio and share it with us, because we would love to see it. I know personally, anytime I go through that emotional turmoil, anytime I go through that strain, it's the perfect environment for me to write music. It's the perfect environment for me to come up with a song. That inner disposition that I have is perfect for creative energy. Cherry says, I do a bit of everything: music, poetry, stories, art, and occasionally game ideas. Though I'm not good at most of what I do. Hey, that's all right. You can do a lot. So thank you, Cherry, for posting, and hopefully some of that was helpful for you. I can't wait to hear the next installment. And wow, we got a whole bunch of people coming in, and unfortunately, we've kind of got to close it down tonight because
I'm sorry, guys.
yeah, Ryan's in a different location, and we're kind of constrained a little bit by timing. So we were going to start earlier, but we had technical issues, and
Yeah, it's my fault.
But it's just we didn't plan ahead. So the people we didn't get to tonight, I apologize, and please come back on Friday. Friday we will try and be here early again, earlier, maybe around 7
or 7:30, yeah.
7:30, something like that. Hopefully we'll try and get here then, so we can have a longer stream for you guys. But for those of you who just came, thanks for being here. I appreciate you all coming in and saying hi. And come back on Friday. We'll see you then. It'll be good. So,
all right, much love, guys. See ya.
Love you guys. You're awesome.